How do you handle getting a new parrot? Oddly enough, I've had a couple of people message me and say that, they're inheriting their parents' parrot or that kind of thing, where the parrot who was bonded to someone else is now going to come home with them. And the question is, how do you befriend an African gray or a big macaw when you don't already have a relationship? And actually, they have a relationship with someone else. Worry not, we're going to talk about that. Hey guys, I'm Kaylin, the author of The Parrot Bliss Bond, Get to Know African Gray and Cape Parrots, Feathered Splendor, and my newest book, 30 Perfect Apartment Parrots, plus my coloring books. Check those out under KB Raphael on Amazon. My mission is to take my experience and my wisdom, so to speak, from having had over 22 species of parrots altogether. I don't even know how many I've had, probably over 30 or more, I don't know. And help you have a more blissful bond, reducing the need for rescues. So, here's Rosie. We haven't had Rosie for a year. When Rosie was coming to us, I was like, oh my goodness. And at this point, because I have adopted adult parrots, I'm really confident that if I adopt an adult and I feel like, I choose the parrot chooses me kind of thing. And I know you might not quite feel like the parrot's choosing you, but in a way they are. So, in that case, I feel confident that we can bond. But I know that part of the secret is time. Time is like one of my answers to everything with parrots. You have to really be patient, and you have to be willing to put in the time to get to the point, let's just say from your perspective, where you feel like you can trust them. Yes, absolutely, they need to get to know you and they need to get to trust you. Absolutely. But when you trust them, you will feel more comfortable. You'll feel like bringing your hand close by makes Rosie act like a dog. Look at that. She kind of nuzzles my hand, like, pet me. Now, how did I get this way, and how do we develop that place of feeling like it's okay? Number one, guys, I don't know if this works for you or not, but I am a very firm believer that animals talk telepathically. I think it's kind of been proven in dolphins with like the sonar with elephants, that they can talk to each other over miles and miles. I think they can talk to each other as far away as 25 miles away, something like that. And there's also been some research done on a African gray who seemed to know what his keeper was doing, his person. So they had the person look at these cards, these like flashcards, and like, let's say there's a picture of a flower. And then the bird would like say the flower. I mean, the cards were words that the bird knew, but they randomly, like someone randomly chose the card, showed it to the person. The person was totally in a different room, just had a speaker and was talking to their bird and saying, hey, what am I looking at? Or something like that. But, it's pretty legit. Now, I have had the same experience with my birds. One of my key examples that I always go back to is my yellow-naped Amazon, Lorenza. When I'm getting ready to leave, I haven't gone for my purse. She stays on the counter, so like I haven't put her somewhere to indicate that I'm getting ready to leave. Like I'm doing nothing, but I'm thinking about what I need to line up to get ready to go, and she'll start to say goodbye to me. So because I believe that they communicate telepathically, in addition to communicating through body language and sound, I started to talk to Rosie before she came. The day that she was coming to me, I started to talk to her and tell her I was so excited to see her. I was so excited to have her joining my flock. When I first met Macy, my Cape Parrot, who I was so bonded to, the first day I met her, I told her, hey, can I take care of you? I want to be the one to take care of you. I want to take you home, and I want to take care of you, because I was adopting her. She was about a year old. And I really think that makes a huge difference. My husband spends time with Rosie, but Rosie prefers me. Maybe she prefers women. I don't exactly know, and that could be true, but I kind of feel like she knows. Do you? Don't you? So, number one, I would talk to them in my heart, in my imagination, and also with my words, and tell them, I'm so excited you're coming. I'm going to have a new companion in my home. I've been told that parrots are more than just a pet. I'm going to have a companion. I'm so excited about that. So I would do that over and over at your leisure, at your comfort level. Number 2, getting to the point where you feel like you can trust them. Watch some videos on body language, first of all. That way, when you're approaching your parrot, you can kind of see and you'll know when they're doing things like backing away. And I'll put a link at the end of the video to a video I recently did on that. When they're backing away or they're pinning their eyes, that means NO. So if you learn some basic body language, you're more likely not to get bitten, and you're more likely to be able to honor when they don't want to connect. Just like if you're crazy busy or something's going on, you're answering the phone, you don't want them to come over and get on you and ask for pets then. You have to be able to say no. Not that they're very good at listening to that. They have to be able to say no. If your bird does something like that, they are either really trying to connect with you or they're trying to trick you. And with African grays, they can be a little tricky. So don't let your bird climb on your shoulder when you don't know them yet. Like I said, I really trust Rosie. I actually really trust her more with my face, with my body, than I do with my necklace. They have no respect for that. Okay, I'm joking around. I kind of wish she hadn't come quite that much, quite that soon. Did you see how I grabbed her beak? Now, that's a little easier, in my opinion, to do with a macaw. Something like an African gray, their beak's a little smaller, it's not as easy to grab. But if you grab that beak, then you can't really get bitten. I do grab it. She could bite my fingers. See how I'm grabbing it? And she's good at getting my fingers off. But, see? And now, again, you do what you're comfortable with. But you want to kind of find what does work. And it'll take some time to find out. Look at the other thing I do. She's trying to squeeze my hands. See, she's trying to squeeze my hands. But I go like that so that she can't bite me. I love you. And I'm always cupping her. I'm very gentle with her. I never force her as she bites on me. I call those, do distinguish between a bite where they draw blood and they're mad, they're saying something, versus what I call beaking you, where, look at that. Do you see she's applying some pressure, but she's not doing a thing to me. It doesn't feel like a massage, but it's not really painful. So how do we build that level of trust? I recommend you open the cage to their door. They don't come out, they don't come out. In time, they will come out. Put some, be sneaky, put some seeds or whatever treat, nuts, right at their door, right in front of their door, and try to lure them out. Eventually, it will happen. If they like fresh vegetables, use that. That's a really great thing. Whatever it is you find that they most like. When you let them out, hey, that was a little hard. When you let them out, one of the best things that you can do is you can prove to both of you, to your bird and to you, that hanging out together is completely innocuous. No one's going to get hurt. Nothing's going to happen. One way to do that is, let's say either you work from home or your cage is hopefully somewhere where they can see you. Today a lot of houses or apartments have a combined like kitchen living room where it's open. So like maybe while you're in the kitchen, you can have them see you, their cage is open, maybe they're on their cage. Spend as many hours with your parrot as you can. I'm not saying hours engaging, totally being with them. I'm saying where you're working in the kitchen, where whatever it is that you're doing, so that they realize that they aren't like, you're like, they aren't the object of all of your focus and all of your attention, which will drive them crazy. Instead, if they feel like you're going around doing your thing, as a matter of fact, if they do poke their head out of the cage, or if they're more comfortable, they come out of their cage, they're playing with their toys or whatever, you don't care. In other words, you're not jumping on going, oh, that's so cute. Instead, let them have their experience, just like you want your experience. You want to be able to do your things at home and not have them like come attacking you kind of thing. So let them have their experience, you have your experience, so that they get to realize, like I said, that Nothing's going to happen. You're not going to hurt them. No one's going to get hurt. You're both learning that. As you do things like that, which takes time, if I was spending 4 to 6 hours every day with my new bird like that, I would expect that in 7 to 10 days, I would see some significant changes. And what I mean by significant is I would expect the bird at that point to be coming around closer to me. If I was not feeling trusting enough to put a treat in my hand to offer them to eat, I would put a treat close to them so they could walk over and get it. And that way they're starting to see that I'm providing something that they're enjoying. And what'll happen is you'll just get closer and closer. They'll come out of their cage or wherever they're at, and those treats will get, you put it down and you walk away, and then you put it down and you walk away less, and then you put it down and you don't necessarily walk away, but maybe you just back up a little, and then you put it down and you stay there. And eventually you feel comfortable enough because you're seeing that the bird's not freaking out, the bird's not stepping away, the bird's not screaming. Instead, maybe the bird's kind of looking at you like curiously. Can you give us a curious look? See what I mean? Good job. Look at that. She put her foot up. I hope you guys could see that. And look at that. She wants to play. So when you spend those hours and hours, even though you're doing your own thing, you do look at them sometimes. You do pay attention. You do go and talk to them, of course. And as you do, you get to know their body language. And you're going to assess, do they seem interested in me? Are they completely wild? Like they've been in their cage so long that they do not want to have anything to do with me. They do not want to come out. Believe me, give them time. A week goes by, 2 weeks go by, give them time. I've done some rescues where it's like I let them have their own time, and it took 6 months, a year, for them to feel comfortable, and we're still not bonded like that. With some birds, that can be the case. And if you want to change that, you can get a second bird of the same species, bond to that bird, and then that bird will teach the first bird, hey, it's not so bad. So as you get more comfortable, you're going to find that things shrink up. You're giving that treat more. You're coming closer. As you come closer, be really wise about it. Remember, this isn't a cat or a dog. We don't pet their bodies. It is inappropriate, and it's reserved for intimate couples, which means that if you're petting their wings, their stomach, their back, they're going to get sexually active. And then people say that birds are hormonal. Sometimes they are, and sometimes it's because it's triggered. If you only pet their head, you're going to find that they're more comfortable, you're more comfortable. Now, they're not like a dog that is domesticated and is going to totally just let you pet their head. You're going to have to approach slowly. I like to give them my hand. Some people don't like that. I like to give them my hand because it is a bird handshake as far as I'm concerned. Because when birds know each other, or when they're getting to know each other, they beak each other. So I don't have a beak, and I'm not going to put my face over there. And so it's kind of like a beak thing. We're touching beaks. And when I slowly approach them and give them my hand, I can see what they're doing. Rosie licked me. She's checking me out. Look at that. She says, I want to come. No problem. Hi, sweetie. There you go. When they don't want you to approach them, they might pretend to bite you or start to bite you. So you go slow. And I know you might be nervous, but do it at the pace and the rate, again, where you feel comfortable. Don't necessarily push yourself. Make sure you are comfortable, because they sense when you're not comfortable. They sense when you're afraid. And funny story for you, it makes a really big difference. Funny story. I have someone come and help me clean my cages because I do have over 22 species of parrots. One gentleman that came to help me, I think he was scared of Orabella, my umbrella cockatoo. Now, I have to tell you that Orabella is like the sweetest bird, and she's just never, I don't even think, bitten us. She hardly even beaks us. And when he came, and he's a big guy. He's not like some little skinny kid, he's an average size, maybe a little taller and kind of a little hefty. Orabella jumps onto him, and I think she scratched his back, or I don't know what. So now he's always been so scared of her, like he won't even walk in the house to help clean unless she's in her cage. She's the sweetest bird ever. Why did that happen? I believe it's because she just sensed his fear. And it's like, I don't know, you're fearful, so I need to be careful, so I'm going to show you who's in charge. You're telling me you're not in charge, so I'm going to be in charge. You do have to make sure that you are at the top of the pecking order with love, with a very gentle hand, not a hard hand, because parrots have a harder beak. So always be really careful. So take on your new bird. I know you can do it because I've done it plenty of times before. Take on your new bird, but give yourself a lot of time and make sure that you feel comfortable, because I have really found that it kind of matches. Like pretty much if I'm feeling more comfortable, the bird's feeling more comfortable. And as like my trust goes up and my like, what are you gonna do, goes down, the bird's does too. And so then it's easy for us to come together when I spend a lot of time with my new adult bird that I'm taking on. And you can see taking Rosie into our flock has been phenomenal. She is so sweet. She is so loving. We have bonded very, very much. And yes, she was a fantastic bird, and that makes it somewhat easier. But when a bird knows that they're changing flocks, which isn't ideal for them, they tend to pick at least one new person to bond with. A lot of birds do like to have one best friend kind of thing. And really important not to sexually stimulate them that way when they choose you that way, but when they do, then it makes it a lot easier to bond. And you still want them to be friendly with everyone, but you tell them that you're so happy that they're there and you're so happy to welcome them, and it changes a lot. Thanks for joining me in this blissful video. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to give Rosie and I one of these. It helps our juice. And put a comment or a question down below. It also helps our juice. And I will catch you in the next feathered video.